also keen to hear what happened next. What were the results of this experiment? How did you kind of broad base this and make it a business as usual?
Yeah. So look, at the end of 3 months, we didn't need 3 months. So at the end of the first few weeks itself, it was quite clear to us that this was a winner on our hands. But at the end of 3 months, when I looked at the results, I was gobsmacked. I mean, this was just remarkable because our productivity, which I had hoped would stay at least constant, and I was desperately hoping it wouldn't go down, it had doubled. Our productivity actually had doubled. The output we were putting in 4 days was double the output we were putting in normal work days, work hours. One. Two, our our customer satisfaction had gone nudged above 4 on 5, which means the customers were loving what they were seeing. They were loving the energy, they were loving the response, they were loving the response time. It was just hit out of the park, right? And around that time, we'd also done the employee satisfaction survey. And the employee satisfaction survey typically had been hovering around 3.2, 3.3 for a long time at Beroe, which again, for a company of our size, our type and so on and so forth, was not very bad. I mean, especially if you compare with the KPO industry that we were benchmarked against at that point in time, we were one of the better performing from an employee satisfaction perspective. It zoomed past 4 on 5, which was quite remarkable because we were streets ahead of anyone else at that point in time, and this was genuine reaction. And I can say that now with confidence because we have never gone below 4 since then, right? And for that quarter, attrition absolutely disappeared, right? It did go up a little bit since then, but then it settled down at very low single digits for the longest time. Of course, the Great Resignation last year affected us as well. It affected us very differently from how it would have affected many of the other organizations. And on a daily basis, I'm reading about the Indian IT industry getting decimated by the Great Resignation and so on and so forth, where organizations are completely changing their entire, almost like a ship of thesis level, right? Where every employee is different just in a year's time. For us, it was panic stations when it hit double digits for a brief period of time last year. But essentially from very high attrition, it had disappeared over that quarter, right? So at the end of that quarter, I realized we've got a winner on our hands. We huddled again as a management team, presented these results. Clearly in the market as well, we were doing quite well. In that our clients had not objected to it. They hadn't seen any downtime. They hadn't seen any negative reaction. And that was reflected in the customer satisfaction scores as well. The entire organization as a whole almost seemed to be charged with a different kind of energy. And there was nothing you could have done that could have given this kind of energy. It was almost like a rebirth. And so we took the decision that was most obvious in front of us. Vail came in and announced to the organization that today we're going to make this permanent. We're going to have all Fridays off. But at any given point in time, any of these parameters fall, we will have to revisit it. We will have to review it because it is our collective responsibility to ensure that we continue focusing on productivity, we continue focusing on quality, and we continue focusing on keeping our customers happy. These are the 3 cornerstones on which we have built. So we made it permanent.